On today's episode of Watch Jericho, we are back with Lloyd Stearman's actual 1960 Mercedes 220S. And today, well, we hope we can get it running. What is going on, guys? I am Watch Jericho, and today I'm here with my dad, the person who loves carburetors, because as you guys know, I hate carburetors. I don't know if he's gonna say he loves carburetors, but
I love carburetors.
Okay. And today we have Lloyd Stearman's 1960 Mercedes W111 here in the shop, powered by the 2.2 liter inline 6-cylinder, which Dad was quick to point out his motorcycle engine is bigger than this, even though in size it's much smaller.
6-cylinder 2.2.
Can you imagine those pistons? Why are they this big?
Yeah, every piston in my rocket is as big as two of these.
That's crazy. I didn't try the oil fill before, but I did check the oil in the very first video, and it was excellent. Somebody didn't want sugar poured in their oil or something.
I also noticed that there's no...
I couldn't see coolant either.
No coolant.
And there's also no brake fluid. It's full of rust. And
I see coolant been dripping right down here on the harmonic balancer. Oh yeah, look.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the water pump's going.
yeah, I bet that water pump's toast.
Well, we can fix that.
I think there's a water pump in the back, actually. They
Look at that.
What's that? Oh, that's an oiler for...
The oil, the bearing in the water pump.
That's probably somebody quit oiling the bearing in the water pump, probably.
Is that like a...
It could be aftermarket.
Yeah, you tell your wife, just stop on the side of the road, squirt some oil in the water pump.
It'll seal right back up.
Yeah.
You know,
it'll quit knocking.
Maybe it would seal up. Also, our clutch reservoir we found was full of rust. And empty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very empty.
Ooh, crusty.
It's crusty. It's all crusty.
What do we got here? We got a... Look at that.
Brake boosters all the way over there. Isn't that wild?
Mm-hmm. There's the vacuum line back to the intake manifold.
Check out the oil check. Why? Why is that a thing?
That's a breather.
Oh, you're right. It is a breather with a filter in it. But the level is perfect, and the oil's brand new.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Means the water didn't go into the engine.
Sure didn't.
It all dripped out on the floor. Wow. Look at there's a block drain.
Yep, it's got
look at there.
Block drain.
This had a lot of leakage right here.
Yep.
That's all water leakage.
Oh, probably because of this, because they I bet it was spraying on it.
Well, even after changing it, you can see it's been leaking there.
Yep.
Little aluminum head, cast iron block.
Yep.
External oil filter.
I think that oil filter is a cartridge filter.
Yeah. Oh, it might be.
Oh, this is oil pressure.
I don't know if that's a cartridge. That should be a... If it's a cartridge.
There's a cartridge element in the trunk from Man, and that's why I think it is.
Probably. There's your oil pressure line.
Oil pressure, and it's like a brake line, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, don't know what that is. That's probably a blinker.
I think it is. I've also heard it's very expensive if it's broke.
Look at that air conditioner.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Eaton.
R12, right? It's gotta be.
That's an R12. That's same old Ford compressor that Ford used them for years. It's a good compressor.
Yeah, and it honestly, it feels great too.
Wow.
So, I think it's totally fine. Oh, there's the wire to the clutch, isn't it?
Right.
It's gotta be. Yep.
What is this?
That opens into the blower, which looks like a turbine from a jet engine. That must be the cabin blower.
Is that so if you're... Look at that wheel.
I assume, I know, isn't that crazy? I assume it's so you can bring in hotter air out of the engine or something.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Yeah, if you don't like the smell of the interior,
That's
just open
right.
this little damper.
You could smell some exhaust.
And get some oil.
Yep.
A little bit of exhaust fume.
It's period correct. You can remember what it was like.
Dual exhaust. No, it goes to it could be dual, but it's a dual takeoff with us.
Down to a little
with a
collector.
little Y. Yeah, it's got a Y collector there. Huh. Well.
You know, this is really crazy. I've never seen AC lines that were just hose clamped on.
Oh yeah, that's the way they used to do it all the time. It used to be the hose clamps had a little. They used to have a little piece of stainless that came out with a band that would go over the end of the hose, so just keep you from blowing them off. You know.
That makes sense.
They're probably leakers.
Probably.
Look at there, they used a hole saw.
They sure did.
They used a hole saw and just
It is aftermarket.
put it in.
AC from Sears.
That dryer is a cooling dryer.
There's no sight glass though.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Is that a sight glass?
Yeah,
It kind of looked like it was. Oh yeah, it sure is.
Last in, there's the regulator, old Bosch 3-coil.
Yeah.
Look at the size of that horn.
The horns are crazy. They're like 6-7 inch horns. What were they doing with
Watch
horns?
that
then?
head knocker.
I know, all right. This thing hits you in the head.
That's a scalper. Oh, there's the generator.
Where's it hiding down there? Oh yeah, it's huge. Yep.
There's the look at that line right there.
What?
See the
Oh, the hose.
yeah, you can see it's been leaking right there. Somebody put a new hose on it at some time, but
I see that. Both the heater core line. Oh yeah, it's been leaking.
yeah, that's
Just heater core things.
a leaker. So
Oh, it's also leaking down to the metal elbow where it hits the radiator hose.
yeah, probably find a little bit of corrosion in there.
I bet.
Okay, you're gonna have to
I know.
no liquid will be. Oh, here it
The
is.
hose is just laying down there. I saw it. It just fell off. But somebody's replaced that hose. The Mercedes hose has nylon webbing in it.
Is this a factory thing?
I think it is.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure it's a vacuum-driven pump.
I don't know. I don't know nothing about this old Mercedes.
I got on FCP Euro, and there was a kit to rebuild it,
Yeah.
and I think it's a vacuum-driven pump.
Yeah. Look at there. It's got dual. It's got dual heater cores.
Oh,
See,
okay.
there's an entrance there. Entrance over here. Then here's our. Wait a minute. That's going nowhere. That must be a drain.
And this is a drain. And then
Those two are drains.
what is that then?
What's
That's interesting. If the heater core lines are right here and right here, right? Oh no, these are shared. It goes across the
Yeah.
top. I see.
Then probably just a single return.
I see. That
Could
makes
be.
sense.
I'd find out.
That makes sense. Huh.
What is this? Oh, that's a fuel filter.
Oh, that is the fuel filter, isn't it?
There you go.
Look at that. And it's actually in good shape. Sure isn't any fuel coming through there.
Gonna need that gasket's bad. See, it's all shrunk up.
Yep. And I mean a new fuel filter anyway.
Probably not parts you can just run down and grab.
It's a Knetch EK443. And they might sell it.
Yeah, they might have it aftermarket. So the brakes are probably gonna be fun.
Fun.
I don't see any rat chewing on any of the, I don't see most of this wiring. Like, what's this?
I think that's 12 volt positive for a light.
Probably.
If I had to guess, that seems like it's either the Stearman's added an aircraft headset jack.
No, that's factory. You can tell by this.
Yeah, it looks right.
You can tell by this. And it's missing the cover for the fuse box.
It is missing that cover.
Yeah, it looks like it goes way out there, and I don't see what holds it on, but you surely want to keep that
Yep, dry.
closed up.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Got them German fuses in it, as it should. Made in Western Germany.
Isn't that a
See
crazy
that?
nameplate? And all the nameplates are upside down, so you can see them as soon as you lean in.
Yeah. What's this one say?
I don't know what that one says.
Please heat the Please treat the surface according to the instructions. And it's got a varnish on it.
I see.
This is about the paint.
Must be.
Synthetic resin varnish.
Huh.
So it has a synthetic resin varnish on it. I suppose. Please treat that. Looks like it's in good shape. I mean, it hasn't been wrecked. It doesn't look like. At least first inspection looks like it's been in pretty good shape. Now, who'd you say this belonged to?
Lloyd Stearman.
Lloyd. And who was Lloyd Stearman?
The man who built the Stearman Aircraft Company, and then the president of Lockheed.
Yeah. So he's got a real connection to Wichita.
Wichita, yeah.
The Stearman plant, of course, was before Boeing. Boeing bought the Stearman plant, if I recall my history correctly.
It's a really weird deal. Boeing stole it from him in a stock exchange. So early on, 5 years before he left the company, there was this stock exchange where they traded a bunch of their shares for a bunch of Boeing shares. And then he was the head of the president. And then they came in and were like, why don't you be head of engineering? And the next year he was gone. So they stole his company from him, and that's why he went to Lockheed.
I see.
which is really wild.
So then, where'd this car come from?
His son bought it from him, for him in Germany, and he drove it there and then shipped it back here to keep it. So, it's pretty crazy.
Well, so I see it's, you've been through all this before.
I have looked at most of it. The Sears tires.
Wide guard Dynaglass.
Dynaglass.
Dynaglass. Those are probably just old radials. I mean, old bias ply tires.
Yep.
Back when this thing was tired. Okay, well, what do we got over here?
Some fun, because he wanted to fly this car, right? He built everything like an airplane.
It says Magneto.
It says it's a Magneto, but that's very clearly just a coil, right?
Well, it's electronic ignition. There's a transistor.
Yep.
So it has an electronic firing sequence of some sort.
And then
It's a
apparently,
Judson.
you could switch the ignition coils. I think they said it had dual magnetos, but really it's very clearly just 2 ignition coils. But you can switch between them.
Yeah, but look at this. This is going...
To the tack. All the little wires, I noticed, go inside the car to the tack. So they're all right there.
What is this thing?
I have no idea what that is. It looks like the condenser.
Well, that's just a resistor for the ignition, so that don't burn the points up.
I see. That's kind of cool.
So it should just be that should be.
It looks like we got
That looks like a condenser.
That's a condenser too. And then this is the timing advance indicator, right?
Yeah.
And then we got a bunch of nonsense. Like everything here is broken. I noticed everything.
Yeah, that should go over. Well, I don't know. I suppose that could come over to there.
We'll do some experimenting and see if we have spark, I guess, and just go from there.
Yeah. Hopefully there won't be too many wiring problems.
No.
Well, so what's the game plan?
Let's see if we can get spark. See if we can make it run. And then, obviously, I'm glad the fuel filter's out of the circuit because the fuel tank's full, I think. It smells terrible.
Okay.
So I need to pump all the gas out of it.
We need a temporary tank. We could just hook a temporary tank up.
We could do that.
Just run a hose. Take this piece. That hose is. Look at that. That's rock hard.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, fuel filter.
Why don't we just try starting it on starting fluid, if we can even get spark, and then tear the carbs down?
Okay.
Because the carbs are going to need torn down.
Yeah, you can tell.
They look terrible. Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, they look like they've been sitting for 20 years, which they have. I mean, the museum got it in 2012, so it's been sitting since before 2012.
Where'd it come from before the museum?
A guy in Missouri ended up with it after Lloyd Stearman passed away.
I see. Well, that's cool that they got it.
Yeah, it's titled in Missouri.
Well, probably the damage on these carbs will be easier to take care of than the one I'm working on right now. I'm rebuilding a carb for a case tractor.
Oh, yeah?
Well, your brother is.
Uh-huh.
And whoever put the fuel line into the side of it stripped the cast iron out.
Oh.
So I'm machining out a bushing.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to thread it to match the original banjo bolt, and then bore
for
it.
the fuel input.
Yeah, then I got to take the top of the carburetor, which is of course cast iron, and I'm going to set that in the mill and mill that out about maybe I think I can go down about a half of an inch, and then I'm going to press in a bushing that is already threaded to the banjo bolt, and that's all. I'd rather work on this than that.
Well, you say that, but we don't know how bad these are.
Yeah,
but I know they're dual.
Bavarian.
It's not a Zenith carb. This is a dual Solex. I know that much.
Oh well, Solex is a fantastic carburetor.
Oh, it's got a man air filter too.
Yeah. Yeah, they're Solexes. Their Solexes are great carbs.
The thing about it is, there's a million kits. So I've been looking online trying to figure out what kit to buy because I wanted to have it here before we started.
Right.
But there's a Solex 32 option, a 34 option, a PATA, a PATA option, and then a PAITA option.
Yeah.
And we need
at least you can find kits.
Yeah, we do need to get them out so we know what the gaskets look like so we can order.
I need a Solex carburetor for my 1958 Ariel Square 4.
Yeah. But it's probably not this big.
No.
Okay.
No, it's just it's a 1,000cc carburetor. So
okay.
For 1,000cc 4-cylinder.
You know, this thing made 110 horsepower which is almost 20 more than the non-S version.
That's pretty good.
I think these are probably some pretty beefy carbs if you had to.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll deliver a lot of fuel.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows where I can find an Ariel Square 4 carburetor, I'm after. I bought one in New Zealand not long ago.
Okay.
And paid the guy for it, and After about 5-6 weeks, it never showed up. I kept calling him, hey, where's it at? And he kept sending me tracking numbers, and finally he just had to give me the money back. So it's probably, he probably didn't package it well, and it's rolling around the back of some shipping truck somewhere, and probably been shoveled to the garbage by now. But
it could show up 1 year later.
Yeah, I doubt it's going to show up. Okay, so let's start with Spark and see if we can get some. Now we got to start with the battery, right?
Actually, we could definitely start with the battery. That's on the list, but I have my jump pack, so we can run the car in the jump pack forever, really.
Yeah, okay, let's try that. All right, put that jump pack on there.
Oh, it's gonna work. This thing powers the winch all day long, so I think it can power a Mercedes for a few minutes.
Well, sure won't do any good for that battery.
Well, I think this battery is...
Oh, yeah, I know, but you're not going to help that battery.
Nope, that's for sure.
Really?
We could take it out of the circuit, but I don't think it's hurting anything either.
Hey, that's all sparks.
Here's what I want to test. Do the giant horns work? Do the keys need to be on?
Shouldn't. No, horn should always work.
It sure should. Nothing.
No horn.
No horn.
Okay, well.
I guess we could try cranking.
No, wait a minute. How do you crank it?
You
got a, what is this, a 4-speed?
It's a 4 on the tree. How wild is that? You want to know the coolest thing about this car?
What's that?
Look at this. Have you ever seen a
That's
geared
neat.
wing window?
That's pretty cool.
It's crazy. Okay, and then I did figure out some...
Of course, everybody in Germany knows these things really well.
Yeah.
You know, when I was over in Germany working, it's like every single taxi cab is a Mercedes.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, and you come over here, you know, and everybody's driving like a luxury car. Over there, they're just like, they're like driving an inexpensive...
another Honda Civic.
Yeah, Civic. Ready to try.
Go for it. We got... Oh, you have to push in to crank again.
Okay, hold it.
Cranks! And it shows we've got a full tank of gas. Well, it's time to figure out if we have spark, so we'll grab our little spark tester here, pull off any of the spark plug wires. We've got the tester hooked up now. Let's figure out if we've got spark. Nothing. Hold on. Let's see what this does. Go ahead. Yep, you can hear the spark.
Okay.
She's actually powerful.
That's hard to imagine you got spark.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy? I
Wait a
guess
minute.
somebody had played with this.
Spark out of this electronic ignition instead of the original Bosch.
Yeah, well, the spark plug wire to the distributor is definitely going to the bottom of that. It plugs in right there.
What in the world? This almost looks like it's...
It's pretty crazy.
I don't understand this. I got to see some more about it.
He just wanted it to look like it was dual mags, I think, like an airplane.
Okay, that's not... So this is the original.
Is it? Or is this the original?
Well, that's Bosch.
That one is Bosch.
And this is a, like I say, This is a Judson, which Judson is aircraft.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
This is all
He wanted to run it on the plane technology.
battery,
It's pretty cool.
distributor. Yeah, it's got an electric beat. I'd like to see underneath there, but
I wonder if the if we get that to sit, if we can get the tack back, because that seems like tack driver.
probably. I don't know what this is.
Oh, look,
This is a ground.
there's another one. It's
Oh, this is the ground.
That's
it
ground.
goes right there.
Yep.
So that should be grounded, and that will come off the tack.
Yeah.
Definitely. So those wires go back there.
If we
No
can,
question.
if we can make it sit.
Yeah, just strip it out. and
For
put it
sure.
back. Need to put some new terminals on, but definitely that's how that was wired.
I think it actually just needs all new wire. It's it's time.
Yeah, well, it depends.
All right.
Okay, so now, let's spark.
Get the tester out of here. So you have to pull the actual air cleaner off first, really, or you can take them both off. Yeah.
Okay, so get rid of that one.
Yep.
Looks like you're gonna need another air filter.
Does need an air filter. Is that a Wix or a Fran?
Yeah, it's a AC Delco.
AC Delco. That's not very Mercedes of us.
See, they've been bringing their food in with them.
Oh, yeah. There's some acorns hanging out.
Yeah. There's some dead acorn. Okay, so we should be able, these horns,
Yeah.
let's pour these horns full of fuel. You got a piece of hose?
I can get some hose.
Let's fill it up with fuel. That'll fill them both up, and at least we can start it for a second. See, we'll have to blow the cobwebs out. See, it's even got cobwebs on it.
Wait, is this EGT? What is that one?
That's exhaust. That's your.
Oh, that's that vacuum
your
gauge he put
vacuum
on
gauge
there.
that he-
Yeah.
Yeah. So if he ever leaves the ground, he can
He can.
adjust his manifold vacuum.
Yeah, and you gotta obviously set your carb heat as well. You know.
Yeah.
This one has a thing on
Look
that.
at that.
What's that one?
Well,
Oh, this is fuel supply.
to be determined. Yeah, that's fuel pressure regulator right there, probably.
Oh, and this is the return.
And I'll bet you when you step on the gas, it changes the. How do you step on the gas? There you go. Yeah. See that changes the. See that changes the pressure on there.
I see.
Increases the fuel pressure.
Huh.
See it. See how it tight bends that spring.
And it just closes the return. That's interesting.
Okay. Well, let's
Get some fuel.
get some fuel. It's got some oil on top of the carbonator, so
Yeah.
let's get some fuel. Pour it full. I got your funnel here, and
Our nice fuel system.
yeah. Well, I don't know if that hose is terribly clean, but we're gonna clean it anyway.
It came out of the brand new hose box.
Yeah, I think that should be about the right size. That should make a good little funnel. We'll
Yeah.
pull that right down in there. Just pull that down until it's in the bottom, and then
We'll pour some gasoline in.
stick that right on there.
Okay,
Okay, now.
I got it.
Okay, you want me to pour this fuel?
Go for it. Just those things don't like to bend, so they just kind of go.
Okay. There's some.
Smells like varnishy gas in here. All right. Oh,
at there.
it's blowing out of the top of the float bowl. That's probably full, right? That's
I
a
can't imagine it being fuel full.
that's a full float bowl now. Look at it just spraying out of the blown gasket.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-oh, yeah. I think we filled that side clear up.
Yep. So it'll probably run for like 30 seconds now.
Well, it's going to be flooded.
It's gonna.
Pour a little more in here. That's strange.
Oh, there. That one's coming out of the side too. All right.
Okay, now.
We should be good.
Hold it. Hey, look. I can't believe it.
It started. You want me to keep going?
Yeah. Don't give it any gas. Listen to that.
It's so quiet.
Yeah.
You can barely hear it run.
No engine knocking. It'll probably clean up here in a second because I overfilled that.
Just. Oh, she's cleaning up.
If this thing had a propeller, we could go flying.
We could.
Oh, that sounds good.
Wow. It's perfect.
But a perfect sounding engine.
That's all 6 cylinders.
Yeah. I don't believe it. Now you're gonna run out of motion here in a second.
Yeah, it's out of gas, isn't it?
Well, it's idling like that. There you go.
I figured you.
Wow.
That runs incredible. Why is this the best engine I've ever heard?
I can't believe how quiet it is.
Well,
What kind of mufflers this thing got on it?
the best kind of.
Oh gosh.
It's got the trash muffler.
Look at that.
Wow.
The varmints have been up in the back end too.
They found their way in.
Has it got a new exhaust on it?
No, this looks original. This looks very Mercedes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's got a big muffler under there.
Sure does.
Look at that, California plates.
Now all we have to do is pull those carbs off and re-gasket them, I guess.
Well,
All of it.
that's all we have to do to start.
Oh, yeah, well,
You can never just do anything.
I
You always
know.
have to do something else.
there's no doubt about that. What's this line? It runs back towards...
Fuel.
Oh, it's the vacuum advance.
No. That's the fuel line. This?
No,
Oh, this line?
This is the vacuum advance.
Yeah,
to the
that's the vacuum
distributor.
advance, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Comes off the carb.
Yeah. That hose feels like it's been changed.
Yep.
Okay, well, now the hard part begins. Look, these have been apart before.
Oh, for sure.
Can you believe that? Look, it's got square bolts on it.
Where?
See them square bolts?
Oh, those bolts? That's interesting.
You can take this carb apart with a pair of pliers.
Built for roadside repairs.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the choke. Interesting. No electronic choke or anything.
Yeah, it's probably, that should just be it should be an enricher.
Oh,
So
okay.
it sucks fuel. It closes off a port and sucks fuel directly in.
I see.
All right.
Well, we should probably shut the jump pack off.
Hard work begins.
Hard work begins. We know it's good.
Here's your temperature regulator.
Oh, yeah. Huh. What was that, cable drive at one point?
I bet it was. It's running into this now, but see that it looks like
Yeah. That's interesting.
something pulled on it. Had to be temperature related.
Yeah.
All right, so now tear these carbs down.
Yep.
Let me get my tools out.
You're just a crescent wrench will get it done, huh?
Crescent wrench and a screwdriver. That should put this old tractor back on the road.
We started by just pulling the top off the carburetor here. And look at that, we have Solex gaskets inside.
That's an original.
Oh, I'm surprised it died with that much fuel in the float bowl.
Yeah.
It's got a good amount of fuel in there. Wow,
That's a good looking little float.
That's a cool float.
I'm surprised
There's some trash in there.
yeah, it's got rust out of the gas tank in it.
Yep. Ooh.
It's really very clean.
Yeah, other than that, it's not like it's yellow or varnishy.
That's the fuel we just poured it full.
For sure. But usually, you'd see the orange varnish sitting in the float bowl. And
You can see where it sat down there at the bottom for a while
yeah.
and just dried up and went away. There's your drain plug.
Ah, yeah.
So if we pull that, that'll drain the carbonator.
The first carburetor is completely out, the rear one there, and now we're ready to pull the front one off.
Ready to lift?
Ready.
Okay, now I gotta pull this. Somebody's lost the nuts off. See, that's got a nut on that.
Oh, and the other one
Secondary.
didn't. Yeah. So one more linkage and we'll have the front carburetor off and ready to rebuild these things. Even though they ran well. And also, I pulled the battery out of here. We're gonna have to clean up all of this battery acid and go to O'Reilly's and get a new battery where the sides aren't bulging out.
Okay, so that's what was missing.
From the other
That
car?
nut was missing on the back carburetor, so.
Okay, so we'll put this in front.
Whoever worked on it
Didn't do the best job.
I hope they weren't working on airplanes for stealing it.
It was no
Oh, we don't need that part.
it was no AMP.
What do you mean? That's extra.
That's amazing.
There's the the front carbonator.
All right, and then we'll try to drain down our. Yeah, there we go.
Huh, look at that.
What?
This front carburetor doesn't have that Venturi in it, no, it's stuck up in there.
Yeah, it's on the carb.
Okay, well anyway. So that's good. Looks
Yep.
nice and clean down in there.
I think so. And then I guess we might as well clean these up too,
Yeah,
huh?
clean them up. Yep, I'd put new base gaskets on.
Yep.
And if we look down in the carbs, that one's got a lot of metallic. See that?
Yeah, there's a lot of metal. Maybe that pump died.
I bet the pump is dead and it's pumped because both of them have lots of metal in them.
They sure do.
So don't like that. So we'll run it off clean fuel when we get done. So we'll start with the carbs.
Yep.
Now, this is the accelerator pump. And these will be relatively easy to clean up. We got to fix this up, figure out what that is. That's probably just an air slide.
For the enrichment or for the choke?
Yeah, for enrichment for the choke.
Gotcha.
There I see a spring. See that spring right there? Or that, no, that's a tube. Yeah, it's a tube. My eyes are getting dull. Look at there, there's a bunch of trash down in that one.
Yep.
Yeah, see that one's full of metal too. Look at all that metal.
They both got a lot of shiny stuff in them.
That's really bad metal.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever see metal in them.
No, you sure don't.
So usually it's always, especially shiny metal.
Yep.
You always see rusty metal.
Well, I'll bring these over and we'll start soaking them in the carb clean, I
Yeah,
guess.
I've got carb cleaner at the house, so we'll set up a bench out there and
Tear them down?
tear them down, get them in the soup. And now, can you find the carb kits?
Yeah. I'll figure out the kit. Now that we've got, I think just the top gasket tells you which kit you need. So
Yeah.
should be easy now.
And there's probably a part number on it somewhere.
Yeah, there probably is.
But yeah, you get the carb kits, and then we'll. This is.
She started draining.
Yeah, there's still.
I opened both drains so we could get them empty.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll drain them out, clean them up, make them look like new.
Yep.
And then we'll have that part done. We know you got ignition, you know you got carbs when we're done with that. And then that fuel pump, I can rebuild that fuel pump. I've got the diaphragm material to make a new diaphragm.
A little scary though with metal coming out of it.
Well, when I get done with it, you won't have to worry about it. Pump will be pretty easy.
Yeah. Well,
And,
they actually sell the pump, I think, but
I'd fix that one.
okay.
It's got a filter right here.
Oh, that's kind of cool. A little hat filter.
Yeah, so there's a filter. That might not have been an original equipment filter here.
It definitely is. Cause
Yeah,
when you,
it is.
When you look up the fuel filter, it's that one.
Yeah, you can tell by the line. It is. So it's got two filters. You have to get that.
Yep.
And yeah, once we get that stuff done.
And a battery and get all the fuel out of it. That's the getting the fuel out of it's actually the fun part, isn't it?
I'll let you do that. I'll watch the video.
Okay. All right, guys, obviously we made a lot of good progress on the disassembly of these carburetors from the Lloyd Stearman Mercedes today. And there's one more thing I want to do. First of all, we need to make an O'Reilly's run soon and go get a bunch of parts, because like a battery, maybe wiper blades, everything we can get from there, I'd like to go get. And I want to give you guys a little bit closer look at the carbs, obviously, because it's nice to be able to get down and dirty with these Solex carbs with original, well, maybe not original, but Solex gaskets in them that somebody put in. Well, there's a tear in that one. Obviously they were leaking around the tops of the hats on the carb on both of them. They were kind of just leaking all over, so they definitely need regasketed 100%, and we'll get these all cleaned up and they'll look much, much better. But the good news is it was running incredibly well after just pouring fuel directly into the horn there on the top of the carb. So we know the engine is in wonderful shape. I very much wish I would have jumped in and taken a look at the tach and oil pressure and just seen, you know, how everything was looking on the instruments. It would have been cool, but this is still excellent progress towards getting this thing back on the road. And it's a wild car. Now, there's one more thing we need to do other than clean up all the trash that just blew out of the exhaust here. That was pretty funny. And obviously I think maybe more even came out once we got it running a little bit longer. And you know, that might have helped clear things up. You fill the fuel right here inside the tag bracket. We need to open this tank up, get a hose down in here, and try to suck all the gas out of the tank. Because this tank, I mean, we gotta get fresh fuel in there just so we can actually drive the car, obviously, and the old fuel smells terrible. So here's my plan. I'm gonna grab my transfer pump. We're gonna shove the hose down in this tank and pump out every bit of fuel we can. And hopefully, after we do that, we might have to replace the strainer in the tank too. I don't know how bad it's gonna be, but I'm gonna put a vacuum on the fuel line in the front and use that to suck some fresh fuel through the system. And we'll just kind of keep doing that while we finish working on the carbs and everything. And hopefully by the end of it, we've got a very clean fuel system without having to drop the tank or go through anything crazy. Now, on the bright side, if this tank is trashed, they still sell it, and it's only $500. So it's not insane. Always drain the fluids if you're gonna park something for 20 years. Guys, the tank only smells bad. It's dry. It's dry. I think it's fully empty. And you know what's even better? There is a drain plug on the bottom of this tank. I think they pulled it. It sure smelled like it had fuel in it, but it seems like it might be empty. So maybe now is the time to put some gas in it and suck it through the system and see if that gets us on our way. All right, I put about a gallon in there, and now we're gonna go up to the fuel filter housing and put a vacuum on that, and hopefully get some fuel sucked through here. You can sure smell. That varnish smell is very strong. I don't know if all the fuel evaporated, which would be a nightmare, or if it's just all gone, but it smells terrible. So let's see if we can suck something through there. If we can, maybe we're good to go. If we can't, time to keep troubleshooting, buy a strainer, possibly a tank. We'll see how bad it gets. Look guys, please don't arrest me, but I did the exact thing that you're not supposed to do. Do not vacuum. That can't stop me, I can't read. And I hooked the real vacuum up to this thing with the fuel filter in line, and it sucked gasoline right through there, and the gasoline's looking very bad. So we need to suck a lot more gasoline through there, but without the power of the big vacuum, the hand vacuums were having literally no effect. They just can't get enough suction on there to rip gas through with the leaky old O-ring that was on the fuel filter there. So we need a fuel filter, even though that old one actually looks pretty good. We're probably gonna keep running it for a little bit until we put the fuel system back together. I'm gonna go get an O-ring that's that size, put that thing back together, and then the hand pump should have no problem getting fuel sucked through that thing. But bonus, like, we are getting fuel to the front of the car. I can't ask for anything more than that. It takes a lot to bring these things back from the break, you know? So we're gonna go ahead and drain all that varnishy fuel down, well, all the fresh fuel that's picking the varnish out of the tank. I'll make a couple passes like that so we can get all the trash out, and then we'll be ready to hook this back up with maybe all new hoses too. That would be unfortunate, but we might have to replace every hose as well. What? No way. Okay. It's not exactly it. It needs to actually be a hair bigger than that. Although that one would work in a pinch, you could force it in there. All right, unfortunate. A little bit bigger than maybe 1 inch, whatever that one is. So that is where we're quitting today, many steps closer to having a working fuel system. And I couldn't be more excited about that. And it runs, right? Like, I think you're all excited, I'm excited. We can't wait to see this thing out on the road. So there's a lot to do, but we are a lot closer. Just, it'll probably take a full day to rebuild these carbs. Most of that's time soaking in the carb cleaner, but it's gonna take a little bit of time, and it's gonna come back better than new. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchchairgo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you wanna do, and I will talk to you next time. Too bad I didn't have that bad boy, but I'll find it. I'll find something close. It's probably not an O-ring. This looks like it was a flat rubber washer. That's what actually seals that. So, you know, if I just got a piece of rubber and then tossed it in the laser, we could make our own.